So in the course of me making this video, it messed up. So I gotta make the whole thing. So once again, I am back. I'm sorry I don't have the same energy because that really just blew me. But I'm back. Life happens. It is what it is. But like I said, I'm going to cover what happened in the new season of WWE Unreal that just released this morning. So, of course, we start where we left off. Of course, Brock Lesnar returned at SummerSlam and F5 Cena, and we go into their whole little thing at WrestlePalooza, and it all cultivates at WrestleMania 42, of course, ending with CM Punk versus Roman Reigns and that whole little shebang. But like I was saying in my other video, I don't agree with the WrestlePalooza of Cena versus Brock Lesnar on how that match went, and nobody does to this day. If you go through anything from Santi Zap to all of the big WrestleMania, all those guys who have reviewed the Cena retirement run, that match is at the end. Each time is at the end of that whole thing because nobody likes that match at all. And Triple H made a comment that was like, "Oh, I think Cena's retirement run was, his heel run was just amazing. I don't see no failure." Okay, Triple H, nice. I don't know when they did those interviews, but bruh, it had some high points and it definitely had some low points, and that was definitely a low point. But going into that, like, who came up with that idea? I always wonder who came up with that idea of doing that. And of course, it was Michael Hayes, PH Hayes. Of course, it was him. Why? Because he was the same guy that pitched that idea of Jey Uso winning the Royal Rumble when everybody in that room said CM Punk. Everybody in the room said CM Punk. But of course, who comes up? Oh yeah, Jey Uso. Yeah, we gonna do that. Yeah. But we go through that whole little thing. Of course, the Cena match happens. And of course, Cena's in there just agreeing with it. Like, yeah, I think, yeah. He's a beast. I think he should come and squash me. Cena, bro, come on, man. Really? You are a 17-time world champion in the WWE. You have the most wishes. You are basically one of the most recognized WWE superstars of all time. Now, I understand doing things for the business because Undertaker's the same way, but I don't think Undertaker would agree to that. I'm sorry. I don't think he would have agreed to that. Maybe not. But how that match went made no sense to this day. And it's almost been, no, it's not a year. But, well, no. Either way, that match still makes no sense to this day. Why they do it that way, I have no idea why. Like I said, I always told this to everybody that I've talked to about this match. I don't care if Cena would have win, draw, I don't care. Give me a fight. Give me a match. Because Cena was talking huge shit about, like, yeah, am I scared? Yeah, but did I come to fight? Yeah. I'm like, okay, all right. Get to the match, over like that. Even to the point where WWE posted their match, I think it was like 15 minutes or whatever, maybe even 11, 10 minutes, I don't care. You can look it up on the WWE YouTube channel. They posted like, a week or two later. So you knew that match wasn't shit, and you still did it. So it's like, come on, man. So that whole little thing happens, and Cena did a interview with Chris Van Vliet, where he wanted to have a whole calendar year, a whole year of WWE. He's gonna take a hiatus from acting. Everything's gonna be on pause. I want to be WWE centered, which I agree with. But in the business side, I understand too, because Cena's older. He's a lot more brittle. He can't take too many bumps and risk injury, permanent injury at that. So he had a couple dates. I understand that. So at that point, we're basically winding on down to the end of December. And of course, we go through them whole little things. Of course, we get to December. I'm gonna just summarize everything. We get to that, and of course, in hindsight, like I said, do I agree with Cena losing? No, because hey, like I said, Cena is a star. I'm gonna say he's probably bigger than Stone Cold and The Rock. And for his time period, that's what he was. Hey, shoot me dead. But that's how I feel. Because I grew up on John Cena. I was born in 2003, so of course he was already in WWE when I was born. And of course, going into the later stage of his career, you've seen the whole thing kind of play out of him becoming the face of WWE, everything. So of course that whole little thing happens. But we get to December 13th, and we all, all up in arms, like, we're going to miss Cena, but I hope he has a great match. Great match. Overall, it's been months since it's happened. And am I still over it? Of course not, because you got to think about it. A lot of people's hero died that day. Even he said, so yeah, the character died. And he did, It's not the point, and I'll say it's not the point that he lost, it's the way he lost. He literally tapped out. His whole gimmick and everything like that, from the Make-A-Wishes to WWE to everything that he's done. I Quit matches, everything, submission, everything. You never give up. And he gave up. But that happens, and of course it creates Gunther as a career killer, everything like that. They touched on the AJ Styles thing, and it was supposed to be Drew McIntyre, which I would have liked, but I'm glad that we got what we got. Like I said, if that whole little calendar year would have came to fruition and we did that, I would like to see Drew McIntyre versus John Cena. That would have been a good match. But we do that, and I wish he had a little bit more time with the new talent, like, you know, like the Braun Breakers, the Obafemis, and all this stuff. Like, they had to, you know, make a star, because when Cena was leaving, that's a huge shoe that you have to fill, and CM Punk is on his way out. He's 40-something years old. Randy's on his way out. Cody, you know, they still got a couple more years left, but it's like, you can't really do much with the time that they have left, because, like I said, CM Punk's 47. That means Randy's probably in his late 40s. Cody's probably, you know, in his mid 40s. They're getting up there. So, of course, they bring on the talent of Trick and Oba. And I'm kind of mad that they didn't mention my boy, Javon Evans. I'm kind of mad they did not mention him at all. You know, we saw little clips of him, but they didn't mention him. So we went through the whole little, you know, where their upbringing of Trick and Oba, and where, you know, their accomplishments and everything like that. And it was good. Like, it was really good. I think they're really banking on Oba, which it still kind of lines up to today. You know, they're still banking on him. Same with Trick, they're still banking on him as well. I think next season, I hope they're gonna, you know, put Javon Evans in the front lines, because like I said, I'm a huge fan of Javon Evans. I'm a huge fan. He's an entertainer. He can do everything that he can in the ring. I'm not saying Oba and Trick can't. Nah, but those three from Stand and Deliver killed it. You know what I mean? I hate that they didn't give Javon the title when Oba had it. I kind of, you know, still look at him kind of like, really, bro? But, you know, it is what it is. But like I said, you know, they thought that they went through that whole little background and everything like that, and we get into who is going to fill John Cena's shoes. And of course, Braun Breaker comes up. Great, cool. I'm 100% with you. And, you know, they're going through the whole little WrestleMania thing after WrestleMania 41, when he joined with Seth Rollins, and, you know, you got Bronson, and you had, you know, it kind of came to fruition, and it goes into Seth becoming injured at the Clash in Paris, PLE. Of course, when he did that little dive off the top to Cody and he injured his shoulder, they went through that whole little thing, and they were like, you know what, we're gonna push Braun to the top. We're gonna see what he can do with it. It went well for a good couple weeks until he got injured. And, you know, I thought he injured himself by lifting up the announcer table, and I thought he caused a hernia, but he said no, it has something to do with that a little bit, because when he did it, he said his stomach tightened up, and he went to the ring and he was screaming, and it just, I guess it inflamed a little bit more, and he had to take off time for surgery. And, you know, he was up there, bro. Like, they was really pushing him, like, you know what, he's the future. Like, he's the future. So they went through that, and, you know, okay, well, Braun's out. Let's do Bronson. Bronson gets injured, and I was there when he got injured. There was a match between, I think it's for the Elimination Chamber qualifiers. It was El Grande Americano, Jey Uso, and Bronson Reed. And of course, he tore his bicep, and I was there in the crowd that night when he did. And I thought it was a work, but no, it was serious. That happens, and then on top of that, they added Logan and Austin, and, you know, we didn't get that far into, you know, Logan Paul getting injured, because he just got injured a couple months ago, but they didn't get into that. But I know I'm all over the place. I'm trying to just summarize everything. It was a 5-episode thing. It was a pretty good, decent season for what it had. So, but overall, man, we get into Liv. When she got injured, and her and Cena, you know, them coming back at Survivor Series, and Cena putting them over. So Cena put a lot of people over on his way out, which is not an issue. But like I said, all that cultivates at December 13th when Cena's last match, and Cena's gone. Like, he's out of there. And then we get into AJ Lee's return to WWE. You know, when, you know, that whole little, like, everything is like, that's what I kind of like about WWE Unreal. We're seeing different perspectives of everybody, from Cena, from AJ Lee to Trick, Oba, Braun, Bronson. We're seeing different things. Seth Rollins, Cody. Like, we're seeing different perspectives, but we're at the same PLE. When one takes off, we go back and say, hey, this is what AJ Lee was doing. This is what this person was doing. I like that. But like I said, we go to that AJ Lee's return and her winning the IC title and everything like that. And then we see CM Punk, same thing. And it kind of gets to a low point where, you know, when his dog Larry dies. And that was just that was an emotional episode. Like, it started off like CM Punk was he looked destroyed. He just looked destroyed. AJ was like, yeah, CM Punk wears his heart on his shoulder, which a lot of people do. And she was like, maybe it was me. Like, I just don't want to talk to nobody. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. Well, understandable, because they don't have any kids. And she said they don't have any kids. They barely have any family left. So it was just them three. And Larry dies. And it was like, ooh, jeez. And he knew about it, Survivor Series. That's why I always kind of wondered, like, he had that patch and said Larry's dad. I'm like, okay, whatever. And he announced it that he had died. I was like, damn, that sucks. But everything's kind of going through that, and then we get to Royal Rumble, where we see Liv, you know, get to, you know, become that top star. Well, she was already a top star, but gets to be able to win the Royal Rumble to go to WrestleMania. And, you know, she was the runner-up like 3 years in a row, and so she finally won that, and it was great. Like, I've always said she should have deserved it even the other years, but this, I think it made it a little bit more, you know, special for her to actually win. And, you know, we went through that whole little thing, and then, of course, we go to the men's side where Braun was injured, and we didn't know he was injured yet until, you know, he got there. Or it was always a speculation that he was injured, but he was like, okay, he's in the Royal Rumble, so what happens? And then we see what happens with that, where Triple H gives Oba that, hey, look, we're gonna push you, you know, to, you know, be in the Royal Rumble. You're not gonna win, but you're gonna, you know, we're gonna make you look strong. And so we do that. You got Oba, then you had Trick come out there, and then, you know, all cultivates in that whole little thing where Roman Reigns ends up winning. And Roman Reigns that barely even makes an appearance. I thought he's gonna be able to talk or something. I guess maybe in the later seasons he's gonna do that, but in these seasons he had a huge, you know, parts in this WWE production at this time, because he was winning. Like, he was Royal Rumble and, you know, WrestleMania, and you don't see him really. So that, but I'm gonna touch on this one thing too, where everybody's up in arms about this too, where the Royal Rumble, they wanted Braun to win. But their thing is, and I quote, we don't want to shove him down their throats. Now, that thing there, right there, that comment that they made at the end of the day, I want to shove them down their throats. Okay, that's an issue, because y'all have done it so many times in the years. Even last year, Jey Uso, y'all shoved him down their throats to the point where it's like, God damn, like, Jesus Christ. And you see where Jey Uso is now. Jey Uso, he wasn't even the main event at that Mania. So it was like, okay, cool. Didn't amount to nothing. A couple years before that, Roman Reigns. And Roman Reigns was the top guy for about 4+ years. And y'all kept, like, putting him in our face. Y'all kept doing that. Now, when we actually want this guy to actually be the top star, now y'all want to, like, nah, bro, we can't do that, bro. Nah, we got to do something different. And I went with the safer choice, which is Roman Reigns, because they said, hey, we don't know if he's able to carry the weight of that. I say pressure makes diamonds. So in some instances, and I think that would have been the best thing for him. Because now you look at Braun Breaker now, he's in tag matches, and, you know, he's not the same dog that he was a couple months ago. So we got that. And, you know, we go through Steph's whole, and then, you know, Roman Reigns was winning. Now we go through Steph's little transition from him getting injured his shoulder, him getting surgery, and him coming back to Elimination Chamber, and him having a match at WrestleMania. We're seeing a lot of moving pieces, which I enjoy. You know, and then we get to Oba, his match with Brock, Trick, his match with Sammy. It's very emotional, like all these things, like, because you wouldn't see all these things like that, because you wouldn't even know. You know, you wouldn't know, but then they give you that backstage look in the documentary, which is nice. You know, but me, I'm an old school type of guy. Like, I do like to have that kind of mystique about it. Like, oh, I don't know what's going on backstage. Would I like to know? Of course. But will I ever know? Who knows? But now we kind of know what's happening backstage, all these moving pieces, everything that's happening. But what else happened? It was a lot. It was a mouthful, man. Like, it was a lot going on in that docuseries, you know? But I think it was great. You know, I don't know what's going to happen next year. I think it's going to probably, you know, stem from, we're going to see Oba. Oh, probably going to cover AJ Styles, because he was in it. And even Cena mentions it, like, in his match at the Crown Jewel pay-per-view. Like I said, yeah, you know, I'm retiring in December, and AJ's retiring in January. So they didn't even really touch on that. So I think next season they're probably going to touch on that a little bit more in depth on why he wanted to retire and why it was the time to retire and all that, which was great, man. I don't understand, like, I don't know. I'm just kind of irritated about that whole little comment that they made of, we don't want to shove him down our throats, which have done so many times. But now when we want this man to become top star, nah, bro, we ain't gonna do that. No, we're just gonna go with the same for Transformer Reigns, which I understand. But come on, man. But that's it. I mean, nothing else really. I'm sorry. We saw Stephanie Verkers, or Naomi likes to say Stephanie Verkera, that we saw her stages from her being in Chile and her dad being her main supporter, which is, that's great. Main supporter going to, the Spiral Tap versus her and Io. We saw that. What else? Her, being at WrestleMania, battling Liv for the championship, and, we all know Liv won. But seeing her from going from Chile to Mexico to Japan, and her breaking her nose, and now battling for the championship at Crown Jewel, you winning the championship, like that's your first, like you won the championship against gang competition, which is Io, because Io at that point she already was up there, so it was like wow. And then going to WrestleMania after that, and battling Liv, and yeah, you lost, but look at the credentials at such a short span, like being in WWE, because she was only in WWE for like a year, I think, or something like that, for like a year when she battled Io for the championship and actually beat her clean. But other than that, nothing else really struck out to me. Like I said, I just watched it not too long ago, so of course it's still in my brain. If I miss a couple parts, I'm sorry. Of course somebody's probably gonna cover WWE Unreal as well, but this is just my take on it. But overall, it was a great pay-per-view, great docu-series. Like I like Unreal as a fan, but if I was a wrestler, I'd probably be pissed off. But overall, man, great. Seeing all the things behind the Cena shit, it was kind of like that's what's happening in there. Like y'all really are just, trying y'all best. Like I said, Cena, I understand that WWE gave you that identity, but you can put your foot down and be like, look, bro, I don't think that's a good idea. But that's just me. But overall, man, if you haven't watched it, I recommend you go watch it and let me know your thoughts about it. But overall, like I said, I'm gonna come back a little bit more. Like I said, life happens. So of course I was going for about 2 weeks. I don't know what else I can cover. I've been watching Raw. Raw hasn't been very, it's been okay. Like I said, I enjoyed the gauntlet match. I thought Javon was gonna win, but no. Ended up gonna get Penta versus Chad Gable. I think Chad Gable's gonna pull it out. It's gonna be in his hometown, so I think Chad's gonna be able to pull it out. And Penta had that title for a while now. Other than that, man, that's all I got. But I'll see y'all later. I love y'all. We're gonna see what else happens later on this week. I'm probably come back for the SmackDown review. SmackDown's been okay. CM Punk's on there now, so I'm gonna cover it really, really good. Hopefully I'm gonna try to do it because I work during the weekend. So I'm gonna try to find a way to do it probably Saturday. If not, then I will cover it Monday. Then I'll go into the Monday review Tuesday. So hope you have a nice day. See y'all later.